Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Dan and Kev's Wrestling Talk Show. We've got a lot to talk about, mate. We've got a lot to talk about. SmackDown NXT releases.
Oh mate, yeah, mad, absolutely mad at the minute. I don't even know why they released those. I don't understand it.
No.
There's rumours come out as well that there were another 3 names that were supposed to get released but didn't.
Yeah.
They were saved. So yeah, like Alexa Bliss, Johnny Gargano were on the list. Timothy Thatcher. It's like what?
I mean, Alexa Bliss and Johnny Gargano, that's a shock.
Yeah, both of them were apparently on the list and got saved. They were supposed to be released as well.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's mental. Yeah. Because it's like people that they've not released. I could probably sit here and give you 10 names right now, 15, 20 names right now that are still there that I'd have released over 30 people that they have released. Like, you know, people like Jackson Riker, you know. But even people like, Timothy Thatcher, I don't think he's done an awful lot. I don't think he's good enough. That's my opinion. But I mean, they've called Aaliyah up to SmackDown, and they've let me go, and they've kept Aaliyah. It's like, you know, they let Ruby Riott go and kept people like Aaliyah and
Eve Marie.
Eve Marie. They now have released, but it's even Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. You know, I absolutely love him, but you'd have to put Ricochet in that bracket.
Yeah,
there's so many people that you would have got rid of before Cross, Keith Lee, Mia Yim, Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, Aleister Black. There's, like I said, I could probably sit here and give you 20, 30 names that are still signed to WWE that I'd have got rid of ahead of 30 that they have got rid of. It's absolutely baffling.
And they said that some of them were due to not being vaccinated. So Nia Jax was reportedly because she wasn't vaccinated.
Well, she's put out a statement. She's put out a statement saying that a couple of months ago she requested time off due to mental health.
Yeah,
and then she said that last week she got a phone call off someone from WWE giving her her back to work schedule, and she said, "I'm not ready. Is there any way I can have another couple of weeks off? I still don't feel ready to come back." And then, literally, the next thing that she knew, she was released. She said she'd not even been asked about the vaccine. So,
and Cross as well was apparently one of them. There was a number of things coming out about Cross. One of them was about the vaccine. The other one was that the reason they released him because he wasn't over with the crowd. He wasn't over.
He was in NXT. So
NXT he was, yeah. But when they brought him up, Keith Lee, I think, struggled. But reports have come out that he was difficult to work with backstage.
I can't see that. I can't see that one.
I think they're just trying to make excuses. Why haven't you released him? Well, they can't say budget cuts. They've probably gone, well, it's budget cuts, but he was difficult to work with. It seems like the sort of play along that they do now. Oh, we got rid of him because he's difficult to work with. So,
yeah,
but it's crazy as well because the both of them have come out now and said the bear cap thing wasn't his idea, but he went with it. And obviously, Cross said that the helmet thing wasn't his idea neither, but he went along with it.
Well, someone tweeted him saying, "Is there any chance that I can have that? I can have the helmet and a couple of laughing faces?" And Cross replied saying, "Trust me, mate, you don't want that piece of shit." You know, things that they did when they brought him up to Raw. It was like, what I didn't understand about all that was it was a ready-made star. Like Triple H had already done everything. He'd already put everything in place. Road Dogg made a comment when they first signed Cross saying how excited he was to see what he'd do, because the reason why his NXT debut was pushed back a few weeks was because Karrion wanted his entrance to be perfect and was criticizing and critiquing every little tiny detail. And, you know, he said you can see that he really has got a bright mind for this. And Triple H had made him a star in NXT. Him and Scarlett was absolutely killing it for probably a 12-month period. They were the best thing on NXT. They were incredible. They were an incredible partnership. They worked really well together. Cross was dominant in the ring. He looked great. I've read a report that Finn Balor's furious. Finn Balor apparently has said, why did me and Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole and Keith Lee and other top stars, why did we work so hard to put Cross over in NXT for you to destroy him on Raw and then sack him?
Yeah.
You know, because Finn Balor's like, that he doesn't mind putting others over, but when I think why Finn's more has a real good claim to be annoyed is because he allowed Cross to destroy him inside 10 minutes. You know, he allowed his character to take a knock and really look weak by getting dominated by Karrion Kross, and he was happy to do that. But for then to lose his NXT title and then within 3 or 4 months, the guy that he's kind of took a hit to himself to put another guy over has now gone, and he's like, what? Why?
Also, as well, is, I mean, we noticed it as soon we noticed it. We thought, oh, he's absolutely brilliant on NXT. He's absolutely killing it. And they even brought him up with the NXT title. And we said it at the time, and I think we videoed it as well, that there was zero reaction to him.
No.
And there was nothing. And it was like, don't people know this? And we've said it many, many times. Not a lot of people watch NXT. And I think they transitioned him, and they were like, well, obviously what he was doing in NXT is not working for the Raw crowd or the bigger crowd. So we'll change it up. And they tried changing it, and it made it worse.
But they never did. But they never did what they did in NXT. They changed his entrance. They took Scarlett off him. They had him get beat his first night on Raw off Jeff Hardy. That is not giving him a fair chance. Like, bring him up from NXT and have him do the exact same thing. Keep the entrance the same. Keep Scarlett with him. You know, on NXT, the way that it started with it being Jet Black and the smoke and the crow.
You could see her in that,
and then she would like. His music could start, but the lights was really bright and it wasn't dark, and he was just stood there with his arms crossed at the top of the ramp, and he was already out. It was stupid. They completely changed his entrance. They took Scarlett off him, and there was something special that they had with Scarlett because he didn't even need to be there. Like some of my favorite moments was when, you know, Cross wasn't even on the episode of NXT, and as NXT is about to go off air, it's going to end. Scarlett would just walk out and with the sand timer, and she would just turn it upside down and turn around and walk off. Yeah. Perfect. Like, imagine if they did that on Raw. Imagine if, I don't know, a Drew McIntyre, you know, wins a match in the main event of Raw. He's celebrating with the crowd, and then Scarlett walks out, turns the sand timer out, looks at him, and then turns around and walks off. And then Raw goes off air. Like, it would have been brilliant if all they had to do was what they were doing on Raw or what they were doing on NXT, and they didn't. They didn't even give him a chance. Like, the reason why he didn't get over with the crowd is because they brought him up, and people who didn't watch NXT didn't know who he was, and then they had him. His entrance just was a bit like, "What's going on here? This is weird."
Jeff Hardy,
and then he gets beat off Jeff Hardy, and it's like, well, he's a bit shit, isn't he?
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? It's like, come on. And they're like, who's this guy? And then he got beat by Jeff, and they were like, oh, he's a nobody. And they just went straight off him.
Yeah, but like, me and you are watching at home going, they're destroying Karrion Kross. Like, we know what he's about. We know what he can do. We know what he's capable of. We're fuming going, you're booking him like a fucking piece of shit. This is bullshit. Like, I was angry every time I watched it. And then you can't blame people that are at the show that don't know who he is, that don't watch NXT. The way that they booked him, it comes across like he's a nobody, like he's nothing.
Yeah.
And it's infuriating. Like, they have just lost. I mean, they need to be careful, because if Triple H is sat at home watching this, he's about to have another fucking heart attack. He's going, what are you doing? Like,
I still think that next year, maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, there's going to be another insurgence of stars. But they said that they're going to concentrate on making their own stars. They're not going to look at indie stars anymore, or the indie circuit. And I'm wondering whether they've done that because you've had people like Cross and Keith Lee, and maybe they were a little bit difficult because they worked in the indie scene. So they were like, well, this is what we want. And WWE goes, no, you're doing it our way. And I'm wondering if there was a bit of a back and throw there, where they've also said as well that the style in WWE is different from indies. So I'm wondering whether they've obviously had to change their style, but WWE are like, this is taking too long and they're not getting over. If we make our own stars, it's better. But yeah, I mean,
I can see that. I can see that with a lot, but with Karrion Kross, that's absolute bullshit. Like, I think you're right. I think there was a back and forth, right? Listen to fucking Kross. He knows what, like, it's difficult to say that, you know, we do it different here. At WWE, we do it different. Yeah, but your way isn't working, and it proves it's not working. That when you bring him up to Raw and you do it your way and it's a bag of shit, then obviously your way doesn't work.
And I think that's what happened. I think that's like, oh, we did this in NXT, and they were like, yeah, but this is Raw. He's like,
so
ain't we the same company? He's like, no, do this. And he's like looking through it, a bit like Tommy End did, where he looked through it and it's like, I ain't saying that. Well, you are saying that, and that's it. And it's like,
exactly.
It won't work. Get over it. And they're like, stop arguing, just do it. And I'm wondering whether that mentality. I mean, if you're not in the Indies and the first place you've ever gone is NXT, and you've started there and you've trained there and they've built you up, it's the sort of mentality, isn't it? You've lived it. It's the same with like the Usos and stuff like that. They've lived in that world, so they know what's happening, what goes on. But if you've worked for years outside, like Cross and Keith Lee, it's a bit, you know what I mean? It's a different world, and I think they've said it before. And I'm wondering whether there was just a bit of
how many mainstream indie stars that was huge on the indies signed to WWE and was a monstrous success? Because to be honest, at the minute, I can only really think of AJ Styles. He's the only one really that I can think of. You know, he didn't even go to NXT. He went straight onto the main show. Yes, obviously people people like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura, and people had even mentioned Samoa Joe, but Samoa Joe hasn't done in WWE what he should have done. You know, I don't think
they didn't release him.
I think Adam Cole was huge on the Indies, great in NXT, and they should have brought him up to the main show, but we don't know how that have worked. Bobby Roode was amazing in the Indies. I know they gave him the belt on NXT. I never thought he was as good on NXT as he was in TNA, and he's not done anything on Raw and SmackDown. Shinsuke Nakamura, yes, he had a good run in NXT, but he's kind of been a bit of meh on Raw and SmackDown. Like, they don't really care about him. Kevin Owens was a monster on the Indies, was great in NXT. They were obviously really hot on him to begin with, but the last 3 years, they haven't used him anywhere near the way that they should have.
A lot of things as well. I've recently gone back to watching old NXT, and I was like, how different it is to WWE, to sort of like, if you know what I mean, between Raw and SmackDown, because you look at it, right, and very early on when it first started, you had people like Bo Dallas, right? He's an ex-NXT champion, and Jesus Christ, they dropped the ball when they came up. Sami Zayn's another one, ex-NXT champion.
Yeah.
And what has he done? You know,
he was great in NXT.
Dallas was the face of NXT at one point. He was like their top guy. And it's like, what did he do in WWE? I can't even think of anything apart from the Bo leave, but that was something that they started in NXT.
It was awful. He did the B team with Curtis Axel, but there's been a lot.
Over in NXT though, he was so over in NXT, it was unbelievable. Like if you go back and watch it, He was well over.
Exact same with Neville. Neville was amazing in NXT. Couldn't do it on the big brand. Ricochet is another one. Shinsuke was amazing in NXT. Never done it on the main roster. Samoa Joe never did it on the main roster, which is why I went back to NXT. Finn Balor for me was the greatest, and this is my opinion. Finn Balor for me was the greatest thing in the world of wrestling in NXT. They brought him up to the main roster, and unfortunately, he destroyed his shoulder. He was the first ever Universal Champion.
Yeah.
If he doesn't injure himself in that match, we never know what he would have done if he wouldn't have got injured in that match. So that is a difficult one. Drew McIntyre obviously did really well in the Indies, came back. I didn't think he was that great on NXT. He then came up for his second debut with Dolph Ziggler. Was no one really cared. And I think he did really well to get himself in that spotlight and on that moment, but I think he's been kind of thrown down our throats a bit too much.
Big E was another one that was really big over in NXT as well.
Yeah, and it's took him 10 years. It's took him 10 years to get to this point.
He was big. He was Big E Langston, weren't he, back then?
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're saying, it's took him 10 years to get where he is. But yeah, it's taken a while, and I was sort of thinking, who like the successful NXT guys, and you've got people like Roman and
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, but when you look back, all the people that were ex-NXT champions, and you kind of go, actually, there isn't many. They're actually like the top people, if you know what I mean. Like you said, Finn Balor should have been bigger than he was, but the WWE don't know. I don't know if they don't know how to use them or what. But you've got people like that, and like I said, Bo Dallas as well, where they were massive in NXT, really over, and then it didn't transpire when they come over.
But Kev, it's the same problem. Like, it's been the same problem for the 6 or 7 years now. Why change it? It works in NXT. They're over in NXT. They come to Raw and SmackDown, and the attitude is that won't work. That won't work here. Why? Why won't it work? Wrestling's wrestling. If it works in NXT, it'll work on Raw.
Yeah.
Look at Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley was amazing in NXT UK. She was amazing on NXT. You could see it. You could fucking see it. Even the first ever episode on Raw, you could see something was different. She was coming out smiling and high-fiving kids, and then she'd get in the ring and she'd cut a promo that's a heel promo. And then in the match, she'd be up against another heel and she'd be the babyface in the match and the crowd are on her side. And then at the end of the match, she'd be scowling and doing heel stuff again. And she didn't fucking know whether she was coming or going, the poor girl.
Yeah, the same thing's happening. Yeah, the same thing's happening with Shotzi at the moment.
Yeah.
They've turned her heel.
What's happened to work with her?
They've turned her heel, Shotzi, and it doesn't work. And I think they've actually got rid of her tank as well, because on Friday night she on SmackDown she said, I can beat Sasha Banks. I don't need a tank to beat her. And I was like, well, that's just her saying that they've gotten rid of the tank. But when she was doing the sort of heel promo, it doesn't work. You can tell it just doesn't come over. And I'm wondering whether that's...
But it's everybody though, Kev. They do it with everybody. And it's... I'm sorry to turn it into football, but it reminds me of the Man United board. Man United are a shower of shit again at the minute, right?
Yeah.
This is the 4th different manager since Fergie. Within the next couple of months, Ollie will probably get sacked and they'll bring someone else. And in 3 years' time, it'll be the same problem. It's fucking you. You're the problem.
Yeah.
But the board don't see that. The Man United board, they don't see it. They just, this is going shit. Oh, it's the players, it's the manager, it's the coaching staff. No, it's not. It's fucking you. You're the problem. Like, it's the same issues now that it was under Moyes, it was under Jones, it was under Van Gaal, and it's the same in WWE. They keep ruining major stars, major talents. They do it year after year, and it's because they go, you need to come up to Raw and do it our way. Well, your way clearly doesn't work.
The thing is, as well, is that Nick Khan, right, is getting the big heat from this. Now, everyone's like, well, he's not a wrestling fan. And I have to see it from his point because, being a manager and stuff, someone's come to him and said, we need to make budget cuts and we need to hire profits, right? So he's just come in and he's gone, Well, get rid of her, get rid of him, get rid of him. And as a fan like us, we can go, you fucking mad. But when you look into like as a manager role, you kind of go, he's just doing his job. He's asked to get rid of people. And the thing that annoys us, obviously, is getting rid of all these guys, but he's not a wrestling guy, so he doesn't know. And he's instructed by someone else to do it. But at the end of the day, it all has to get signed off by Vince. So he gives.
I agree with that.
He gives. And then Vince goes, okay, like that, and just goes off. Tony Khan's just the one who's making the choices. And I think if he was a wrestling fan, he wouldn't be able to make the tough choices. But I do think it's a bit of a kick in the bollocks when they go, oh, we made £256 million.
I'm saying. I know what you're saying, Kev, but and you're right. Nick Khan's only doing his job. He shouldn't be getting as much shit as what he's getting. But the shit he is getting is justified because he's getting rid of wrong people. Right at the start of this show, we both said Aaliyah, Jackson Riker, blah blah blah. He's not got rid of them. It was shit.
Yeah.
Like this is Shelton Benjamin's second stint here. He's done fuck all again. He ain't good enough. Get rid of him. And there's been female talent on NXT that have been coming and going for the like. I've got something for you that's interesting.
Yeah, go on.
Would you say that Carmella is a top female star?
No, and she was never a wrestling really anyway because she was the manager of Big Cass and Enzo Amore. That's how she started out.
But yes, she's underrated, but she will never, ever be a top girl, right? Ever. She's not good enough.
I don't think she won the briefcase.
And she won the title, but I think as a wrestler, she's underappreciated. She's better than what people give her credit for, but she's not good enough to ever be anywhere near the top. I think she's very, very good, but she's very, very good at making others look good. She did really well at making Bianca Belair look good. She's done very, very well at making Becky Lynch look good. She's very underappreciated in that regard, and I do like Carmella, and I think she gets a lot of shit unjustified. But she's not good enough to be Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair. She's not got the talent, right? Answer me this. They've got rid of Ruby Riott. They've got rid of Sarah Logan. They'll probably get rid of Liv Morgan soon. They've got rid of a few. They've got rid of Nia Jax. And yes, I know botch Nia and all that, but she's still good talent. Yeah, they've got rid of Mercedes Martinez. Fucking hell, they've got rid of a lot of really top women, right?
Yeah.
Now, Carmella was on Corey Graves' podcast a few weeks ago, and she said she's really happy for her mate Aaliyah because they started together.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's fucking baffling to me that she's shit then because Carmella isn't great.
No.
Right? But she's been on the main show now for 5 years.
Mm.
They got signed on the same day.
Yeah.
And they've only just brought Aaliyah up. Well, she's clearly fucking shit then. So
she hasn't really done anything.
Mate, and every time I've seen her wrestle, I've gone, you really are poo. Like you're not good at all. So again, yes, Nick Khan's only doing his job, but he's getting rid of the wrong people.
Yeah.
It's such a difficult like I said, for me, everyone goes on about Jackson Riker, and they are right, but for me, it's like Shelton Benjamin, how much experience in years he's got, he's still shit.
He's been there. He was there for years. Got rid of him. He went to the Indies. He done fairly well, and then they brought him back. And I thought, okay, they could really push him now. He's in that sort of middle field. He's quite good. He's a very technical wrestler. You got to think he was an NCAA champ, just like Brock Lesnar. So he's like a proper wrestler. But they just don't use him. And it's like he's got this potential. Just use him, and they're like, "Nah, we'll just keep him where he is."
Gable's another one.
Yeah, Jack Gable. Yeah, Gable's another one. They, proper all-round American, proper wrestling. Went into the Olympics, but they haven't really. They've not really used him like I think they should. Even Kurt Angle said that he'd be quite happy for Gable to do like the Angle sort of mentality sort of thing, like bring him up, have him an Olympic sort of champion sort of thing, and give him the ankle lock and all that sort of stuff. And he said he'd love to coach him to do that, but I don't think WWE are interested.
No, but but coming back to the point I was making earlier, it's you. Like, same with the United board. Yeah. Look at yourself, because you're constantly ruining top talent. Because Rhea Ripley for me is a great example of it, and Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler. But when they brought Shayna Baszler up, were they doing anything different with her at first? When she was biting Becky Lynch, and when she was
they brought her up with the same intensity,
exactly the same on NXT. Then something changed, and you could see it. But Rhea Ripley, you could really see it. Like, she was on NXT, she was killing it every week. She looked amazing. From the very first second, it was like 1 minute she's a babyface, and then next thing she's a heel. That's clearly not her, because we've just seen what she's capable of on NXT, and everything changed. And since she's been on Raw, they don't know what to do with it. And she's even said publicly, the second she got brought up to Raw, writers and producers backstage were saying, you can't do that. You're on Monday Night Raw now. You need to do this and say this and do this and stand like this and walk like that. So it's them.
Yeah.
They're bringing all these people up and saying, you need to change. No, they don't need to change. You fucking need to change.
Well, look, I can't understand why they got rid of B-Fab. I mean, you bring up Hit Row, and then they get... And I've said this to my wife and my daughter. I said, they make these teams in NXT where you've got the guys and they give them one girl. So you had Hit Row, you had Phantasma. Retribution. You also have Diamond Mind at the moment with the girl in there. Yeah. And then when they bring them up to WWE, they're like, oh, you're a group of 4. No. It only has to be 3. We'll get rid of her. And it always seems to be the girl out of the 4 groups that gets knocked off. And
the whole B-Fab thing, I don't understand at all, because she is actually a good wrestler.
Well, yeah, I just can't. Why did they go, oh, we bring up Hit Row, and then, because this is the weirdest thing, right? So 2 weeks ago, she put on our Instagram account, I've just signed a 2-year extension on my contract. And then 2 weeks later, they've released her. And it's
well, she was doing well. She was doing well. When you look at the whole when you look at the whole bloody hell Hit Row thing, when you look at the whole Hit Row thing as a group, right? She's not outshone by any of the men. I think she talks as well as any of them 3 on the mic. I think she wrestles as well as any of them 3 in the ring. I don't get it.
No. And they even took
a weird release that.
They even took her vocals off the song as well. So when they came out on Friday, it didn't have her vocals in it, which was weird. But the whole thing of her being released is just weird. Like, why bring up that?
None of it makes sense. And people are saying, it's budget. Fuck, stick your budget cuts up your fucking ring. You're talking out your ass. If you actually think that WWE need to make budget cuts, you're a moron, because they don't. They're bringing in more money annually than they ever have.
It's the same where I work at Royal Mail, right? They post every year, we've made 300 million profit, right? And then we'll get a letter coming through saying, this is your budget, and it's down from last year. It's like, hang on a fucking minute, you're making £300 million profit every year, and our budget's gone smaller, and you want us to get rid of people? Are you fucking mad? And it's the same, mate. It's exactly the same.
This is what I'm saying. Like, WWE do not need to make, but yes, after Cole, look, this has been a cull. Like, what they've done is, we need a much shorter roster, because we're basically, even though they're making more money now than they ever have, they were giving people wages that they didn't need to, because they had that much talent that, and I'm not even exaggerating, 70% of their roster they didn't use.
No.
Or didn't need to use. So they needed to get rid of a lot. In my opinion, they've They've kept people that should have gone before others, and they've got rid of people that I do not understand, that I think is a disgusting, like Andrade, bloody Aleister Black, Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, or, Karrion Kross, Keith Lee, Mia Yim. They've got rid of so many that they shouldn't have done. It's like they've brought Xia Li up to SmackDown. Like,
they've not even used her yet. They've just done the promo work for her.
But they had to bring that crazy Chinese bird, to make her interesting, because she wasn't. She was nothing. No one cared about her. They then stuck Boa with her. No one was interested in Xia Li or Boa. They then brought Mia Ying, or whatever she's called. They gave her, and at least she made the group interesting. They've brought her up on her own without that, and Mercedes Martinez, who was an incredible female wrestler, they got rid of. And in Mercedes Martinez's last match, she got knocked out because Xia Li kicked her face off. Xia Li's made a mistake in virtually every match that she's ever had. Like, why is she there when they've got rid of Mercedes Martinez? I was never a fan. I was never a fan of WWE version Frankie Monet. Never a fan of her. But she's a very, very good female wrestler.
That was one of the shockers when I said, "Oh, Frankie Monet, Tessa Valkyrie's gone." I was like, "Are they mad? That woman alone could sort of be WWE or SmackDown Women's Champion."
She never got over in NXT. She was a bit bland.
She was doing the same gimmick she did in Impact. So if you've watched her in Impact, she was doing the exact same thing. So she in Impact, she went with the fluffy boots. She had the dog with her. And when she comes to WWE, I thought they might change it up a bit. Obviously, they changed her name, but her actual gimmick was the exact same. And like you said, it didn't get over. But she's a really good wrestler, and it's just a bit of a shock. Whoa, she was really good. But I don't know why they got rid of her. I don't get that. Why bring her in even? Because they brought her in during the lockdown. That's when they signed her.
Look, I didn't watch her in Impact, so I can't say. I can only go off two things, right? One, I'll lean on your Impact knowledge there, so it was the same thing. Did her wrestling matches at least look better in Impact?
She was really good.
In NXT, every time I watched her, you could see that she was talented. You could see that she knew what she was doing. It just felt flat. It felt flat and bland, and there was just nothing there. But this is, and I'm actually using race here in a good way. I'm using race to make a good point rather than a negative. This is a white girl with blonde hair and blue eyes, who shouldn't have been accepted in Mexico because they have a very, very strict, regime, and they only they want to keep their luchador style within their heritage, and rightly so. The Mexicans, when she was wrestling in Lucha Underground and when she was wrestling in AAA, the Mexican people called her the best luchadoress that they had. That is an incredible compliment. This is a white girl, and the Mexicans took her in as their own and recognized that as one of the best female luchadors that they had. So she's clearly a very, very talented wrestler.
She's also, I think is she married, or is she John Morrison?
I think
she's married to John Morrison. So, and that's, in saying that's another person. What the hell are they doing with John Morrison at the moment? Without the Miz, they don't know what to do with him.
And the thing that I find a little bit upsetting there is he's technically solid. He finds his spots really well. He sells well. But for me, John Morrison has a moveset unlike anyone else, with that parkour style and his agility and the moves that he's capable of doing. He looks like no one else. No one else can do what he can do. He can do moves that they look like parkour, and that's what's so special. Is that he
rope and stuff like that, where he spins in midair, and that's quite good. The corkscrew.
His finisher, the Starship Pain.
Yeah,
he has a moveset that is so unique and that looks completely unique and to him. And for me, you should be pushing somebody like that. I think The same goes for Ricochet. I think the same goes for Mustafa Ali. Ricochet, 3 years ago, Rey Mysterio said that Ricochet is one of the best technical wrestlers ever been in the ring with.
Yeah.
And it's not used.
No.
I find it baffling. So some of the talent that they've got rid of, that are in the same boat as the people that are still there. You know, a Buddy Murphy, incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they didn't use him, and it's like they continuously blame the talent, and it's not the talent, it's them. And like I said, I come bring it back to Rhea Ripley, because with Rhea Ripley, you could see it on night one, and she's even said, I think it was on the After the Bell podcast, she said, I came up and I was told that won't work up here, that won't work on Raw, you need to do this, you need to do that. Rhea Ripley on Raw, no one cares about her. Rhea Ripley in NXT, we were all going, oh my God, I can't wait to see her career. What a next 10 to 15 years she's going to have. What a superstar.
Yeah.
She was she at 23 years old and NXT champion, you look and you go, wow, 23. And she looked like she'd been doing it for 15 years. She was incredible. And they've ruined her. And they've ruined her because, again, oh, well, what you were doing on NXT won't work up here. You need to change. No, they don't. They don't need to change. You need to change. You need to change your dinosaur mentality and just do it like it was working. With Shayna Baszler, there was no difference. You watch Shayna Baszler in NXT, you watch that first month on Raw, no difference. And then they just completely went off her. Why?
Yeah. Yeah. I still think
makes sense.
I still think some of them may come back. Like I said, in a couple of years' time, I think that they will. I'm just waiting for the day when we'll get the first person from AEW signing for WWE. I'm waiting for it.
Mate. 12 months, it's coming. I just, off the recent people, Keith Lee will never come back. And I'll tell you for why. I'll tell you for why. Keith Lee will never come back. It took him 6 tryouts to get signed. 6 tryouts it took him to get signed. They clearly don't like that style. Now, I don't know why, because when you've got someone who looks like fucking King Kong doing backflips off the top rope, I'm down. I don't know about you, Kev, but I'm opening a beer and I'm grabbing my popcorn. What he can do for the size of him.
I don't know what happened, because a lot of people now have started bringing up the WWE 24, which is on the network.
But they were never keen on him, Kev. But if it takes you 6 tryouts to get signed, you're not what WWE are looking for. Now, I don't know why, because like I was just saying with John Morrison, he has a very unique moveset that he stands out. He doesn't look like anybody else. Keith Lee stands out. He doesn't look like anybody else. Like, who else do you see who is that big that can do the sort of shit that he can do athletically? There's nobody. Like, go and look. Anyone watching this who never seen Keith Lee in NXT, Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic in NXT, go and watch the 3 matches that they had. They were incredible. You've got Dijakovic at 6'7" and 19 stone of pure muscle, and Keith Lee, is like a bear. He's huge, a monstrous human being. They're doing a Spanish fly. Like,
yeah.
This is what they came. But the fact that it took Keith 6 tryouts, WWE clearly don't like him. They maybe it is the fact that that's what he can do. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe me and you go, yeah, but he's different and he looks different. Maybe that's Vince McMahon's problem. Maybe he goes, well, I want a big guy to be a big guy. I don't want my big guy diving off the top rope.
I want it to be like Omar's.
Yeah, I want him to be like that, and I think that's why T-Bar, as he's now called, but Dominik Dijakovic, I think that's why T-Bar struggled, because I think he's trying to do the incredible stuff he can do for such a huge man, and I don't. They want him to be a big guy. Maybe that's the problem. Keith Lee will never come back. I'm 50-50 on Cross and Scarlett, because I think Cross and Scarlett are probably fuming. I think Cross and Scarlett will go, I'm never going there again.
Yeah.
You know, but I think I'm going to call it now. I think people like Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, I wouldn't be surprised, mate. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to the Rumble in January and Bray Wyatt or Braun Strowman. So I will put out a statement now. Someone that has been released within the last 12 months will come back at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling it's going to be Braun. Personally, I think it's going to be Braun. It could even be Bray and Braun. But somebody will come back.
I think it'll be a while before we see any of them, like, probably in Impact or AEW. But I think Tony Khan put out.
Cross goes?
I think he goes to New Japan.
I think he's perfectly suited.
Yeah.
To New Japan. I think he'd be perfect there.
The next big star over there, and I think he'd be quite happy to do that.
Speaking of New Japan, have you heard the rumours?
What's that?
Someone from New Japan apparently has done the same thing that Finn Balor and AJ Styles did. They've contacted a few American promotions saying, I want to come back to America. He's not American. Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay apparently.
Yeah, I've heard the name floating around a while now.
Well, apparently the last few weeks is he wants to come back to America, and the rumors are it's to WWE, and they're saying that WWE are actually going to use the social media beef that Will Ospreay had with Seth Rollins to push a big match between Ospreay and Rollins. Hey, I think it'd be great.
I think it would be great, but we'll find ourselves probably back here again. We had things like this with Cross, like even saying, "Oh, look, he's amazing." Will Ospreay once again is amazing.
Yeah.
But what are they going to do? I think he might be better suited maybe on NXT UK. But I don't know because, but like you said, I've heard the rumors about and he's a good wrestler, but whether or not they use him like we want him to, it's another matter.
Yeah.
You might get there and go, this is... I know Keith Lee actually turned around and said that it was a massive culture shock. Like when he went to WWE, he was like, right, okay, I've done the wrestling before. And then it all started and he was giving promos and he was like, this is what, it's a bit like overload. I think Tommy End even said the same thing, and Dean Ambrose, when they were giving him promos.
Let's just wish... our good friend, who we don't know, let's wish Jon Moxley all the best in his recovery, because you know what? Many don't do what he's done and said, I've got a problem. And I think when it comes to men, I think, and I've seen it with my own eyes, I've got family members that are alcoholics. I've also got closer family members that have more of, or have had in the past, more of a problem with alcohol than what they would probably accept or agree to, but from the outside looking in, you can definitely see it. I think men do abuse alcohol to the point where it may not be alcoholic, but it's definitely a dependence. And I think the culture that we have is we abuse alcohol way too much, and then we realize why we're then feeling depressed and feeling so low and so shitty, and without alcohol is a depressant, like especially beer and lager. Like the chemicals in lager block your brain from producing happy chemicals and only induces your brain to release low chemicals and chemicals that make you feel down and depressed and shit. And it's not all that. It's not good for you, to put it bluntly. But on a weekend, I enjoy a beer, so.
Yes, we all like a beer here and there, don't we? No, but it's good that he's got the help, and I've seen all the things online as well saying he didn't have this problem in WWE. We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you now. Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley, John Good. Let's use his real name because this is a real life situation. I think John Good's had a problem with alcohol for probably most of his life. You're probably talking 15, 16. I think he's probably had a problem and abused alcohol way too much since he was probably 15, 16.
Yeah. But anyway, we wish him a speedy recovery. We'll see him in. I'm sure. Well, AEW sort of, they are behind him, so he'll be back soon, I would imagine.
I've heard Tony Khan say that there's 2 or 3 people in this batch of releases that he sees that he wants to sign, and don't. I'm going to get so much shit from all the AEW warriors out there that are going to be coming for me again, but it really is that simple.
Yeah.
If you're an indie stan, if you're Will Ospreay now, go to WWE. Don't go to AEW. If they're your 2, do not go to AEW. It's pointless because I think the proof is in the pudding when it comes to this, because stars that me and you idolized, me and you loved. Andrade, we were both a massive fan of. Aleister Black, we both fucking adored, right? Yeah. And both of us said we're more WWE fans than AEW fans. But now they signed with AEW. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. What have they done, Kev?
Not anything. No.
What have they done?
Nothing.
Because it's too stacked. Like AEW now. When they set it up and you've got Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Chris Jericho and Tony Khan and Cody Rhodes all saying, we're not going to make the same mistakes that WWE have. You already have.
Yeah, you already
have. Like, I don't like this. We're not going to make the same mistakes that WWE have. Well, pretty much all of their backstage staff, the producers, the camera guys, the sound guys, they're all ex-WWE.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to stay as far away from WWE as you can, why are you employing a high percentage of ex WWE guys backstage, and then your front of camera talent, you've employed God knows how many ex WWE stars, and now you've got to the point where we was all criticizing WWE for probably the last 10 years, probably the last decade, probably the last 3 or 4 years, where the last 3 years, me and you have criticized them for
for
WWE for having too much talent and not using them. AEW now have more talent that they don't use than what WWE have.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm waiting for that day where WWE sign an AEW star.
MJF, telling you.
Yeah. We get a AEW release, future endeavors from AEW, because it's got to happen.
It's got to happen, mate. It's got to happen.
Dixie Carter did the same thing with TNA. I mean, she just threw money at it, and everyone was like, "Oh, Kurt Angle's getting released from WWE, buy him," and it just seemed. And then what happened, obviously, there was it hemorrhaged money, and it just wasn't making anything. And that's what led to the sort of downfall of TNA. And now we've got Impact, but it's had like 3 or 4 owners since then. But I'm just worried that it's all fair and good at the minute. But it needs to, they need to make money to stay relevant. And it's all right buying everyone, but if you're hemorrhaging money, and it's gonna have an impact further down, because you're gonna have, not only that, you're gonna have a lot of young talent that will want to be on TV and won't be able to because you've got a stacked roster.
I agree.
And Eric Bischoff came out and said the same thing. He said, it's great, they're signing all these stars. He said, but we did the same thing. And what happens is the younger talent get frustrated because they want to be on TV. But you've got big stars like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and all these sort of people that want the TV, that you want them to be on TV. So it means that the people that want to be on TV, your younger stars that you're supposed to be pushing, are pushed further down the line.
And this is the problem, because like CM Punk has to be on TV. Bryan Danielson has to be on TV. Before he's obviously left, John Moxley had to be on TV. Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, the Lucha Bros, Cody Rhodes. There's already 80% of a Dynamite there. And then you go, well, I'd like Andrade on the show. I'd like Malachi Black on the show. And then you go, oh, shit, we've not got any women. So, shit, I'm sorry, Andrade, Malachi Black, Miro, you're not on this week because we need to put a women's match on. And I think if you're a woman in the wrestling industry right now, not signed to either company, go to WWE. And I would also say that women within AEW, how many women within AEW do you think are happy?
I don't know. I think there's a little bit of a whitewash there, because I think that they turn around going, oh, I'm really happy here, but I think further down they're like, they're frustrated.
I would say there's probably a handful of girls that are happy. The rest are unhappy because they're not being used. And if they, and they probably do because the wrestling fans like me and you, if they're watching WWE and they see what WWE do with top women, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, Banks, Bianca Belair. When you look at what WWE actually want to do with their female talent, they want to push them to the top, and they do give them opportunities. I think AEW needs to be careful because people like Statlander and she probably won't leave, but it'll happen to Britt Baker where she starts not getting used as much. She'll probably stay there now because obviously Adam Cole's there, but there's
they need to do is they need to now
Thunder Rosa. I'm baffled.
Yeah, I think what they need to do now is make Dynamite 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, not Dynamite, Rampage 2 hours, and have it as a separate show and not an extension of Dynamite, because that's what it feels like, and I think that's why a lot of people are turning off because it's just like, oh, and they should change it a bit like we've got Raw and SmackDown. They should have it the same way over there. That way they can showcase a bit more of their talent, because I know they've got Elevation and Dark. No one watches them.
No, your women need to be on Dynamite and Rampage. You know, because whoever watched 205 Live, like I know it's good. I never watch NXT UK because I haven't got time.
Yeah, we're the same.
I haven't got time for it.
Yeah, and it's main event's another one.
Yeah, so we're more WWE guys than AEW, and we don't watch all of WWE stuff because you've not got time.
No,
you need to showcase your women on Dynamite and Rampage, and they don't.
Yeah,
it's like I think someone like a Thunder Rosa in WWE would be brilliant.
Yeah. But no, but yeah, AEW, I want to like it.
Same.
I want to like this, but there's just something there that's stopping me, and I don't know what it is. It's just like I should really be liking this. I should really be into this.
And
it's just something there. I don't know what it is. And yeah, I should be like, this is really good. I should be really excited, but it's just, I just don't know. I just don't get it. I just like.
Me and Nat are the exact same. Me and Nat 4 or 5 times I've stopped watching AEW for weeks or even months and then gone, no, and then we'll watch 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes and we go, we'll watch it, it'll finish and we'll go, I really, really want to like it. I just don't.
Yeah.
It's just something about it is I can't even put my finger on it.
No,
the wrestling matches they put on are great. I would go as far as say the actual, from a wrestling standpoint, it's better than WWE. As a product, the wrestling that they put on is miles better than WWE.
Yeah.
They have guys that I'm massive fans of: CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Young Bucks, Adam Cole, Miro, bloody Andrade, Malachi Black. I could go forever. I could go on forever.
Yeah.
They have so many talent that I love. That I've watched for years, and that I want to watch it. I really want to.
Yeah.
I cannot get into it.
Yeah, same.
I can take it or leave it. Whether I watch Dynamite, mate, even when it comes to the pay-per-views, I don't care. If I miss an AEW pay-per-view, well, I don't care. I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why, because it's good. It is good. There's just something is missing there. Something is missing. When I was watching WWE as a kid, and even now, and look, over the last 5 years, I'd be an idiot if I said that it's not been poor, because there's been times where it's been unwatchable. It's been so bad.
Yeah.
AEW's never been that bad. It's unwatchable, but I still tune in and watch it every week, don't I?
Yeah.
WWE has that thing that even when it's not great, you still tune in and watch it every week. Even when I've had conversations with you, Kev, where we've spoken on a Monday afternoon and we've gone, I wonder what shit they're going to do tonight. You know it's going to be bad. You're still going to watch it. Whereas AEW, it can end and go, that was fantastic. What a fantastic Dynamite. That was brilliant. Like, this match were great. That match were great. Oh, they've got so many stars. Brilliant. And then next week you go, can't be arsed.
Yeah. Like I said, they've got as a wrestling product. I think they're the best on TV at the moment.
Yeah, by far. Yeah.
But I think the other side of it, the entertainment side, promo stuff, I just don't get it, and it's just like saying I can't put my finger on it. It's just something's there. I don't know what they're missing. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know what it is.
I agree.
It's really good. I should be liking it.
Yeah. Well, that's the frustrating thing for me is I watch these shows and I go, why am I not loving it? It's great. It's great. The matches are so much like the matches end, and I go, wow, why can't WWE put on matches like this every week? Because the AEW do. Every week, AEW will put on one match that you go, wow, what a fantastic match. WWE don't.
One thing I am getting really frustrated with on AEW is actually CM Punk.
Yeah,
I think he starts off. Like the last couple of Dynamites have started off with him coming out to the ring, and it's like you can guarantee it. Like Dynamite, oh brilliant, we're here with Dynamite. CM Punk's music hits. You're like, he did this last week. He'll come down the ring, he'll talk a minute, go on to the commentary, and that'll be it. It's like, is that all?
That is literally what mate. It's a crowd pump. When does Cult of Personality hit? He never not make the crowd go. Like it does. Oh, yeah. It's the biggest crowd popper in wrestling. To be honest, the only person's music hit that gets a bigger pop, for me, is Rock.
Yeah. Oh, what happened there? Oh, Dan's gone. Where's Dan gone? He's just left. What happened there? Oh. He's back now.
I've no idea what happened there. That was really
weird.
Nothing, mate. I've just checked my Wi-Fi. It's still connected. My speed test is just done. I'm pulling 70 meg, but I'm on a wired connection anyway. That was weird. Anyway, Rock. Yeah. For me, Rock's music hitting is the only thing that gets a bigger pop than Punk. Yeah. And that's all they're using now is let's start Dynamite by getting the crowd going, fucking get in, Punk, yeah, come on, Cult of Personality, and then that's it.
I think I'd be more shocked if he came out and wrestled. I'd be like, oh fucking hell, he's wrestling.
I think it'd be a better show at the minute if they didn't do that, and I'll tell you why. Because the Rampage where Punk debuted, me and you have already spoke about it. It went because this is what's happening at the minute, and I have not seen last week's, but the last couple of weeks, you're right. Punk comes out, his music, it's the crowd go, fucking come on, Punk, where? They're all throwing beer at each other, they're all going mad. The noise is amazing. He comes out, and then the rest of the show, it's like, it feels like the fans in the arena have gone, well, I've seen Punk, I can go home now. I've seen Punk, I don't care.
Not only that, you can guarantee a few things as well. You can guarantee whatever happens, Cody Rhodes will win. And that's getting a bit boring now. And the Elite will somehow come out on top. And it's like, or the Super Click, as they're calling themselves as well. And it's a bit like, I've seen it 3 or 4 times now. It was all right the first time, but when the thing that annoys me is that you get all the AEW warriors and everyone going, we don't do the same matches over and over. No, but you do the same stuff over and over. Mm. They had a match between the Super Click had a match between Dark Order, and Adam Cole obviously had him in the lock, John, and the 2 Young Bucks kissed him instead of doing the Super Kick, and then they did the exact same match the following week.
All right, I know.
Like, you've done this last week.
Yeah.
And I was like,
AEW fans.
You're criticising WWE for repeating the same shit.
Yeah.
You've just done it. And you said you don't do shit like that.
But they do. But it's the same gimmick. Like, the Young Bucks kissed Adam Cole on the cheek, and the crowd started laughing. So they go, do it again next week.
Yeah.
But you're constantly having a go at WWE for doing that. So.
And it's the thing where when he comes out and he goes, baby, I know it's his thing, but that was WWE. I thought you weren't the same. What's going on here? Get something else. It's the only thing that gets him over when he stands there and goes, baby. And he's a really good wrestler. But
is Bryan Danielson still doing the yes thing?
No, that's the crowd. He's already told the crowd not to do it, and he doesn't want to be doing that anymore. But as soon as he comes out, everyone's going, yes, yes, and he doesn't do it at all. And I'm thinking, all these people in the crowd there are all AEW warriors. They're like, oh, WWE shit. But you're quite happy to go, yes, yes.
Which is a WWE thing. I know, it's so... They're so fickle. Like, it's ridiculous. You know, it's... They will call out WWE. Like, I feel like AEW fans, and look, yes, there are WWE fans that are completely single-minded and have tunnel vision, but I feel like the high majority of AEW fans have rose-tinted sunglasses on. They will call out WWE for a pile of shit, and then when AEW do the exact same thing, it's brilliant now.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
So many times online. I've seen it so many times as well online. It just gets annoying after a while. But anyway, we've been on for an hour now. So look, we're gonna take a break, and we'll be back soon. Obviously, I've been Kev.
I've been Dan. See you in the next one, guys. See you later.
We'll see you in the next one. Hopefully soon.
Next few days. Yeah, next few days.
All right. Cheers, guys.
See you later, guys.
Later.